Another option for managing fence row nozzles, if you don't have an external switch box and you don't want to use the virtual on-screen switches, is to use a profile build to manage the fence row nozzles. So in order to do this, if we were on the home screen, again, we would go into wrench, boom nozzle, nozzle setup. When we're in nozzle setup, the fence row nozzle is going to be nozzle, if it has a left fence row nozzle, it will be nozzle number 1. And if we want to control this with a profile, we would take nozzle number 1 and set it to fence row on. And so that we knew that this profile right here would turn on fence row nozzle number 1, we would take boom 1 and rename that to L fence. So if I only have a left-hand fence row nozzle, I can stop here. If I have both a left and a right fence row nozzle, I'm going to want to add some control for the right fence row nozzle if I don't want both of them to turn on at the same time. So I'm going to assume that the sprayer has both fence row nozzles, and if nozzle number 51 would be the far right-hand fence row nozzle. And if I don't want it to turn on when I hit the L fence profile, I can set its rank to off. So now whenever I choose L fence, the left-hand fence row nozzle will turn on and the right-hand fence row nozzle will turn off. And when we go back out to our home screen, we can now see that we have an L fence profile. And if you look very closely, you can see that it has that left-hand fence row nozzle separated out because we have it chosen. If I come over and select boom 2, where I have not enabled that fence row nozzle, you can see that that fence row nozzle has disappeared as that option. So when I click on L fence, that small nozzle shows up right there, and we will be operating our fence row nozzle. I can come to boom 2, that would be off. And if I want to set up a right fence row nozzle, boom nozzle, nozzle setup, I would go to nozzle number 51, and I'm going to do boom profile 3 here. And I'm going to put fence row on, and I'm going to go over to nozzle number 1 now, and it's defaulted to off. And that's what we want to set up an R fence profile. So now I can rename this profile down here, R fence. Hit the check mark, go back out to my home screen, and now I can see when I'm on R fence, again, I have this very small nozzle showing over here, which is my right fence row. When I click on boom 2, it disappears. I click on L fence, you can see that fence row nozzle over here. And boom 4 and 5, I haven't done any setup, so those do not have those fence row nozzles in there. So using the boom profiles when a fence row nozzle is plugged into the VCM is another way of controlling them.